Okay, this week's overview is going to be short. We're just going to essentially cover most of the things that we already did last week. A lot has changed, but as for the plan, very little has changed. I think the key thing to look at is 49, right? So if we stay above 49, I think 44, I think more up here, honestly, than what I've drawn out right now. So like 54, something like here. Is where to look at for the next key level. If we break over that or break over 60, yeah, that's practically guaranteed the next is all-time highs. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at. That's very simple. I think spot is leading the rally here, and I think if spot can continue to do that, we will reach new highs consistently. So the key is kind of look at what spot's doing. Yeah, where you do that's Coinalyze or something like that. So that's a highly recommended thing to look at here, spot flows, and see what is leading the rally rather than perps. We don't want to see perps take over and trade at a premium. We want to see spot continue to just drive this rally up. So down to the daily, breakout over the yearly high here. What I'd be concerned about is if we come back down into this range below this high here at 49, and if we break under 49, the first retest zone is 45, then we have 43. Ultimately, again, the game plan, of course, was at 32. If we come into here, buy spot heavy and see a recovery. At this point, I wouldn't be too overzealous with waiting for that to get spot buys in. So 43 is the first area I'd be looking at. 38 is another area if we do come back there. Maybe come down to like 35 max, I think, if we do see a bleed down and get bonked down from up here. But for now, if we continue to hold 49, we're good for about 44, 45, or 54, 55 rather. And come into this zone, flip that, and it's kind of game on for an actual. Well, we can definitely not argue with that this has already been a bull market. But we can see if we come up here, I'm going to expect to see retail really lose their fucking shit and start bidding spot even heavier. So for now, on the lower time frame, what I'd be most concerned about is, again, like I said, this kind of deviation above, breakdown back under, and then coming back down. So I would be looking for shorts only and only if we see a conclusive breakdown and a retest that is shortable with a nice position. Overall, though, I would be looking mainly to just long dips. So again, that's here, maybe even here, here. These type of dips is where I would mainly be looking to long rather than short, because I highly doubt that if we do come back into this, that we somehow just bleed down into some level where I have a nice swing short for a long period, right? I'm not counting on the fact that we come back to 32. I'm counting on the fact that we have a smaller retracement before we continue to rip up. So yeah, that's kind of what I'd be looking at on BTC, lower time frame. And otherwise, just continuation, right? We have a flag. We had this pennant we spoke about last week that perfectly broke out as expected. Yeah, so mainly just look out for flags and continuation. But if we do see a breakdown, then that's kind of the game plan there. ETH was consistently weaker, still relatively weak comparatively, but I'm assuming a lot of spot flow is going to come into this as well, especially once the ETH ETF news kind of is the next up. So I'd be really looking for that news to pump the market. I remember last time, I don't remember the time period of when it was, but I remember the ETH ETF news dropped and we had this crazy spike. So it must have been this or potential ETF news for ETH. So that's then what I'd be looking at for ETH. Same plan more or less if we break below these levels. But since Bitcoin is all the way up here, relatively to ETH, we are still lagging. So there's very little to say about that. So that's it for the most key essential parts. Hopefully Bitcoin just consolidates a bit, gives ETH and alts space to rally, and then just continue to look at something like the spaghetti chart, see where strength is, and rotate into the strength alts, especially if Bitcoin gives that consolidation. That is more or less it that I would be looking at here. There's very little to say. If ETH comes back down to here, I'd be looking for a breaker long, stop loss under here, long here, and up to the 2900s, which I think is a clean level for the next high. So that's essentially it for the most part. And I'll be doing an alt outlook right after this, where I just go over all the altcoins that I'm looking at and that I think are going to be the most beneficial for you to look at as well. The watch list hasn't changed much in the last weeks, with just those alts having consistently good setups and good strength. So I would continue to look at those, but you'll see which exactly those are in a second if you go to the next video that'll be uploaded. And yeah.